What is going on, YouTube? This is so much of a different video that I will be doing. That I've ever done, and that I will be doing in the future. Maybe I'll do a couple more of these, but I'm not exactly too sure. But today, what we're doing today is doing a little bit of fun stuff in Premiere. I've been contacted by a couple of friends and whatnot that they just don't know exactly how to use Premiere, the editing software by Adobe, and just needed some clarification and needed some ideas and tutorials. And I thought, who better to do that than somebody that does Premiere every single day, that works in video editing, that works in video production. Why not I just hop on the camera? Why not I hop on the Mac OS desktop and say, hey, let's run through Premiere, let's run through a couple of videos, let's run through a small little tips and tricks and things of that nature, just to get more affiliated with the Adobe software, specifically Premiere. So what we're going to do is just go through the different things of Premiere. I want to, make the intro quick and fast and easy, because I know when I'm looking for Premiere tutorials and things of that nature, people, they just want to talk about themselves all day long. So what we're going to do is, hopefully you can see my screen here, is go through this. I want to make this a video. I just recently went to Las Vegas, and I'm going to make a video out of it, that with microphone, script, visuals and whatnot. And these are all files from my trip, like pictures and videos and things of that nature. But what I'm going to be doing is creating a Premiere file, and this is going to be like the template for it. I guess this tutorial starts now. What you want to do is go down to Premiere Pro 2024, updated late last year. This is what you should be seeing right here, and it brings up Premiere. So this is what I always see when I bring up Premiere, when I don't have a video file already attached to anything, or I don't have a saved file. This is the main screen here. So you can go to new project, or open project, home and learn, and a bunch of other stuff, create new project. What I always do, and then a lot of this stuff is honestly just habitual, new project. So this is a new project window that they just made. I remember it being a little bit more simplistic, but this is like some stock footage that they used for Premiere. So up here, you have two different things that you always want to look at, maybe three. Project name. I'm going to name this project Las Vegas, and then project location, where you want this project to be saved. This is only the Premiere file. Exporting is a whole different beast. So I go to hard drive. I'm going to go find the folder Las Vegas right here, and then I'm just going to have it in this file. Over here, you can change the sequence setting. However, I will only have one sequence, so there's no point of changing the sequence setting name to it. And that's just about it that you really need to get started in the basics of Premiere. There's whole tutorials on what this stuff is on the left and right, but there's no point to be dealing with that kind of stuff. So you want to do is hit create, and now look at this. Look at us now. This is crazy, right? Holy cow, what are we looking at? So we're just looking at a whole bunch of gray blocks, a whole bunch of gray squares. Okay, this might seem a little bit intimidating for people seeing these different project panels, but I promise you it's not that bad. So what we're gonna do is look at this. I'm gonna move me up here. I should probably move this as well. So what this basically is this is Premiere. Las Vegas is the name up at the top, and there's a whole lot of buttons and things that I can click and whatnot, media, create sequence, and all types of stuff. So what we're gonna do is just import my files, and then we can get started with naming off what these things are. It's not that bad. So what we can do is go to, where is Las Vegas? Las Vegas, I'm going to just drag the whole file, and it's going to import. You can import entire project, import selected sequences. It's only showing me this because I've already saved the project file to this file, so it's trying to import the file that's already the file that I've opened. So it's kind of confusing, but it's not that big of a deal. You just hit OK, and then just everything. Yep. See how like just sometimes stupid Premieres, and you'll learn that as we're going through like this tutorial and going through different things. Premiere's just dumb. It's dumb, and it's not the best product of all time, but it's certainly serviceable. So what we have right now is our videos here. So it obviously did not import in the right the sequence that I have these like lined up, but that's okay. I didn't line them up in any specific way. That's tailored to the computer. So what we're going to be doing is going through these five different gray blocks. I have 5 different gray blocks. You may have 3 different gray blocks. If you just now downloaded Premiere, you're probably going to have 3. It's probably going to be the assembly workspace, but we'll get to that. So these are different workspaces, but I'm in effects. And we'll get to why I'm in effects soon. So right now what I'm going to do is go over this. So I'm going to go over these 5 different blocks. So this, I don't even know what the names are for these 5 different blocks or workspaces or panels. I don't know the name. You don't need to know the name. But what you do need to know is what they do. So this one right here in the bottom left, that's usually on the bottom left when you have effects as your workspace. This is where all your files are that you imported. You cannot put anything on the sequence, and we'll get to that. You cannot put anything on the sequence or the timeline if it's not already in this. So this is where all my files are. So I have 12, 30, 23. I just go into that, driving, pictures and videos, and look at that, I have videos now. So these are like the thumbnails, and you can scrub through without sound going through this type of thing. So it's actually fairly like trivial. There's just layers upon layers upon layers depending on how many files and folders that you have. But this is the most outermost layer. This is us looking down at this from a bird's eye view. So you want to go into this file. Okay, look at that. Now we have all my different files. Let's go into 1230. Okay, great. I double click that. Now I'm into this. So these are my 2 different files. I separated what we did on each day when we were in Las Vegas. Also Phoenix, Arizona. So driving and Rustler's Roost. So if I want to click into driving, look at that. This is pictures and videos. Look, again, I already organized all this, literally specifically for this. Pictures and videos. So I want to go into pictures, I double click videos, and look at all my pictures. Only 5 of them, really. So what we can do is, if we want to jump back out, and this is the most like innermost layer. This is us bottom of the hole looking up, I guess. This is the most bottom hole that I can't go any more farther. I can make a new bin, I can make a new folder, but all that does is just keep on creating layers, and I don't have anything to put in those folders, so there's no point. So if I want to go up, I hit this. If I want to go up, boom, boom, boom. Look where we're at now. So this is the most important button here. If we're going to move on to this panel here, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do this. Let's do my earlymost day in Las Vegas. So 12, 28, 23. So I have a couple files here. I have already a couple videos, and your workspace, your panel here might not be as layered or whatever as mine. I just organized it before I got here. So let's go to driving. Let's go to videos. Let's just pick my first video that I ever took in Las Vegas, Nevada. What I'm going to do is double click this, and look at that. It brings me up to this. Again, I don't know what these panels names are. You don't need to know. But what I'm doing is just looking at this. Okay, cool. I have this video, whatever video that is here, and I double clicked it. It moves it up to here. So there's a couple involved things going on here, but it's okay. It's not that scary. So you see this blue thing? This is where your marker is, or not a marker, but I call it a marker. You don't really need to know the names of things. You just need to know what it does. So I'm at the beginning of this clip, and I hit the space bar, and it's just going to play. This is the video that I took. And then you hit the space bar, and it pauses. So this is the entire video. It's 10 and a half seconds of just us riding in the car. That's exactly what this video is. and you're like, how can I edit this? What's going on? I want to slice it into different things. We'll get there. But I just want to make sure that like when you double click a video, this is what's going to pop up, so you can move things, you can change things, you can do different things with this clip before you drag it to the timeline or sequence. Okay, you can do different things before this, but this is your source. I think this is the source panel, so you can do different things with the source. Okay, now moving to the sequence, moving to the timeline, what you can do is either drag the actual video straight to the timeline, and boom, look at that, this whole other stuff opens up. And notice when I also double click this, a little bit more things popped up over here as well, and we'll get to that. But you don't need to worry about that right now. What we're worried about is this here. So we just got this, right? We just pulled this to this, and this is the whole video. This is the all 10.5 seconds of what I have going on here. So it's the same exact video that we have up here. So the difference is that this one is on the timeline. This is on the sequence. I can chop this one up using my razor tool, and I can chop this one up and take this part out and then move it down. Now look at us. Now we're about, what, 6 seconds roughly? I've cut out 4 seconds of this. So that's where you do all the editing, is this timeline panel, this sequence panel. There's a whole lot of other buttons right here, but this is where you get. What I can do is go to this next one. And if I want to take out a certain section of this video, what I can do is that, now this is a little bit more involved, but we'll get to it. So mark in. I want to, take, I'm about 2.5 seconds into this clip. Let's do mark in. And then I want to do maybe a little bit of this. So I'm going to only take this section, and I'm going to hit mark out. I'm going to take only this section of this video. So I'm going to drag it and move it here. Okay? So that is what we have here, is from this point to this point on this video. And you can actually see the little, like the physical points of where the video is. So it took it right in the middle. However, if I want the whole video, I can do this. I can drag this out. I can drag this out, right? And then drag the whole thing to it. You see how this is a lot shorter than this, because this is only a section of this. So pretty cool stuff. You can take specific clips of your videos that you have here in your source panel, or your whatever panel, and move it up to the source panel, and then drag it over to the timeline. Now let's do it one more time. So if we want this video right here, right? But we only want the visuals of this video, you can drag video only, and look at that. Only video. There's no audio attached to this clip of us driving. I'm going to delete this, right? And then let's say I only want audio. These are what these two buttons are for. And I only get audio. So it's pretty involved already so far. But those are just the main ideas, because I assume and I know that when I started doing video editing, I really wanted to figure out like, how do I put clips in the timeline as efficiently as possible? And really what you could do is this, drag this down a little to make it more uniform. Select both of these, put these together, and then now look at this. You're watching it, and let's say skip ahead, and it cuts to the next video, and now I have a video or film going on. So pretty cool stuff. So right here, this is your sequence. So this is, I don't know, whatever you want to call this panel, your source panel, I think, and then your timeline. This is probably the most important one right here, the most important block that we have here. There's a lot of other buttons, but that's a little bit too involved. This panel up here, and this is the second to last panel here. This is the I don't know what this is called. Program. That's what it's called. Program right here. So what this does is only play what is going on in the timeline. Okay? So I'm going to hit play, and it's going to play up here. This is where it's a little bit lagging because my computer, but this is where the video is going on right here. Now, it will not play over here because this is not really linked to this. What this is linked to is this. Okay, so I can play the video all day long and it will not show up on here. Okay, I can double click this video, I can double click this video, right? And I can hit play on this and it's gonna play this because this keyhead or whatever it's called is over top of this video. Okay, so if I want this video to show up here, or I want this video to show up here, or I want this video to show up here, I'm going to drag it to the timeline. Now look at that. It's on there and I can watch the video now. And I can watch it here, right? I can hit pause, play, doesn't really matter. But if I want to edit it, I want to do something with it, I want to add it to the sequence and timeline, I have to drag it here. And what this does is you can, it just shows you what's going on in the timeline. And I think like timeline is like probably the most important panel, but you can't see what you're doing if you don't have this, you know? And if you're only editing audio, then just use Audition. So there's really no point of like not using this. So look at this, it cuts now, and then now I have a video. It's about 20 seconds long. So we're gonna move on to the final. I'm gonna move this stuff, and I know we're about 16 minutes in. Hopefully this video is about 20 minutes. So what we're gonna do is look at this panel, and this is where we get into our workspaces. So like I said, you probably are in the assembly workspace. I use the effects, and there's a specific reason for it, but we'll get to that. And I'm looking at myself, acting like that, like myself is the audience. So the way that you change workspaces, and I probably should have done this earlier, but it's okay. Workspaces, so you just hover above and you click it. There is assembly, editing, color, effects, and audio workspaces. These are the only 5 workspaces that really matter. All this other stuff that's going on, I mean, sure, you can edit a workspace. I use effects because that's the only one that I'm a very habitual person. This is the one that I've been using for years. So let's go into each of the workspaces, but I'm going to mostly take my time in effects workspace. So let's go to assembly. This is most likely what your Premiere Pro application looks like. Your videos on the side, right? It's the same stuff, right? Same order, but we don't have the source window. Okay, all we have is this panel, and this panel. Okay, that's all we have. And pretty much for assembly, that's all you need. If you literally just want to put pictures and videos together and that's about it, fantastic. That's exactly what you'll get. Look at that. Like that's exactly what you're gonna get when you use assembly. But if you want to be a little bit more involved, you want to switch your workspace to editing. Okay, editing, all it does is just add the source window back in. That's it. That's all it does. It makes the things ever so slightly, all your little panels, but it's okay. And then if you want to move on to the next workspace, this is color. So what this does is add a 5th bar, a 5th panel here, but all it is Lumetri color. Lumetri color is how you change color in your videos. So it's literally called the color workspace because Lumetri color is popped out and is a part of your project, window or big old screen. Now we can go to effects, and I'm going to show you why this is the one that I use. So effects, you get switched to effects, and you see how it's about the same size as the Lumetri color in the color workspace. But what this does is, what effects does is, I have effects here, so I can go to different transitions, audio effects, video effects. But I can also go to essential graphics if I want to add a specific graphic to my timeline. Okay, but I can also go to essential sound, so I can change sounds, I can change different things, I can add royalty-free music and sounds and things of that nature. And we also have Lumetri color, a part of this panel. So I don't need the color panel. You know, I do need the color panel, but it's only like, this is it. This is all you get right here. But if you go to effects panel or effects workspace and then hit Lumetri color on the right, this is what you can get. You can get the entire Lumetri color ordeal all still in this one on the right side of the panel, while getting your other effects, essential graphics and essential sounds. And then libraries, markers, other things. This stuff doesn't matter. I don't use it, so it doesn't matter. If I don't use it, then it doesn't matter. But that's basically the outline of Premiere. This is like kind of the, I mean, it's a software, but this is the hardware parts of this software. This is the stuff that you actually have to be using. This is stuff that you have to become familiar with. Like I said, I use effects workspace, and I know there's a lot of people that edit their workspace, so you can do that down here. I don't necessarily do that because all I need is this panel, this panel, this panel, this panel, and this panel. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. So a little brief overview is, if you want, you just import videos, and if you need to import something, you can either drag it from other files, or you can double click it. And it automatically brings up this little window, the Finder window. You can find pretty much anything here, so you can cancel out of that. There's a couple other things that you can learn down here, and that'll probably be in the next video. And then this is your source. I believe this is your source panel, and you can obviously change this. Maybe not obviously, because some people may have not known that. I'm going to move this over here to the right. So this is your effect controls and things of that nature. Lumetri scopes. This has to do with color. Source. This is how you actually look at what you selected here. Audio clips and mixing, and then text. You can add transcripts, graphics, and captions to that. But I mostly stick with effect controls or my source. But this is still called the source panel. And then still going back over it, this is the timeline, and this is like the different tools that you can use as part of your mouse here. So you can text tool and whatnot. This is the timeline, and this is probably your most important. This is your buddy right here. This is the most important thing right here. And there's a whole lot of stuff that you can do with it. You can move it up and down. It changes the size of different visuals and different audio tracks. I guess that's what you can call it. And you can also use these bars to go crazy, squinch it down, move it really back up. It's really involved on like how, I guess the word is customizable, but I use this all the time, where I use it for like 10 seconds and I move off of it. So if I really want a specific audio segment here, I can move all the way in and get down to the nitty gritty specific frames of video, or I can move all the way out and see my entire timeline from a bird's eye view. And that's how these, I think they're called roller bars, but at least that's what I call them, roller bars. So it goes horizontal and vertical. These are the horizontal ones, and these are go vertical. Pretty normal, pretty. So you can grab the ends of them. You can also grab the bar itself and move up and down. It's pretty involved. The same thing over here in the source panel. This is a little bit more information, but it's okay, because it's pretty vital to trying to figure out how to do video editing in Premiere. And then up here, second to last panel, like I was talking about, this is your program. This is the only way that you see what's going on in the timeline. It's the only way. You can make this thing bigger by grabbing the edges of this, grabbing the margins, move it up and down. You can really change the sizes of these things however you want, right? This is some audio right here. I mean, it'll play left and right, and it can show you the levels of that, and then you can move this out. And like I said, I have the effects panel going on over here, because that's what makes the most sense to me. I add a lot of video transitions and audio effects. I also deal with a lot of essential graphics, but I also deal with color, and I don't like just the color workspace, because maybe I need an effect really quick. There's no point of going back and forth different workspaces when all I have is right here in the effects workspace. So that's what I use. I'm sure I can go over a lot of things, way too many things right now, but we are almost 25 minutes into this video. 25 minutes explaining Premiere to you guys, and hopefully this is a kind of outward look on going into Premiere and what it all does physically. These are all like the physical mechanics of of Premiere, how to import, what you're looking at when you double click, the timeline when you drag something to it, and then the source or the program when you're looking at your timeline from a visual perspective, and then the separate fifth panel that you can look at effects and limit your color. I really appreciate you guys listening, watching, having fun with me talking about Premiere. And this was maybe just a Premiere tutorial talking about, you know, if you're now, hopefully you're a little bit more familiar with everything going on in Premiere. It's not, it looks really complicated with all the numbers, letters, signs, symbols going on, and all the buttons that you have on your keyboard and whatnot. But I promise you, it's not that difficult. It's just 4 or 5 different panels that do different things. Just explaining what those 5 different panels do. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, having fun with me, and I'll see you guys in the next probably Premiere tutorial. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.